I had the privilege of speaking with youth in government this morning, and one of my messages was the importance of civility. Though they are bound to disagree this weekend, and noting that robust debate is healthy for our democracy, I did remind them that you can disagree without being disagreeable. I urged them to learn from the awful stories in the press about how some fanatics have reacted to the health care reform bill in Washington, D.C. I did not mention, much less criticize, the Tea Party because political discourse is a valuable part of our democracy. There are many thoughtful Americans who oppose health care reform bill, and I respect their right to do that. Unconscionably, though, some fanatics associated with that movement have engaged in speech and action that harkens back to the violent, turbulent 1960s. Racial epithets were waged against Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights hero who marched in Selma, Alabama, and was beaten within an inch of his life, fighting for civil rights. These fanatics spit. They spit on James Clyburn. My children know you don't spit on anyone. They hurled homophobic hate words against Congressman Barney Frank because he's gay. Bigotry, intolerance, hatred. These hateful words are used to intimidate, degrade, and hurt people, and they have no place in political discourse and debate. And we have worked together to remove these prejudiced and degrading terms from our vocabulary altogether. And now reports of death threats, cutting gas lines, delivering a coffin to the front yard of one lawmaker, and even threats to kill the children. Threats to kill the children of Democratic lawmakers who supported the bill. I think we can all agree, gosh, I hope we can all agree, that this has gotten way out of hand, as this rhetoric and rancor is turning into violent action. And in my view, perhaps the worst offense is that people in leadership positions are silent. And astonishingly, in some cases, it appears that they're actually encouraging this horrifying behavior. None of us should take lightly this dangerous trend. As we leaders, as legislators, should condemn behavior like this, Democrats and Republicans alike. If we don't quell this now, it will surely foment, and as a society we will all pay as the election tensions rise. As John Nichols wrote in The Nation, quote, "Tea Party activists need to disassociate themselves from the behaviors that were on display since Saturday. These behaviors discredit the Tea Party's sincere activism and insult not just John Lewis, but the memory of Ronald Reagan, who wisely declared 20 years after the March on Washington," this is President Reagan's quote, "the long struggle of minority citizens for equal rights, once a source of disunity and civil war, is now a point of pride for all Americans. We must never go back. There is no room for racism, anti-Semitism, or other forms of ethnic and racial hatred in this country." Close quote. Please join me in condemning this activity. I have a resolution condemning that behavior that I hope you will consider adding your name to it. I authored this resolution not to endorse the health care bill, because I know we don't all agree. I wrote this not to criticize the Tea Party, again, because that would be divisive. I deliberately drafted this resolution merely so that statespeople of goodwill can stand together and condemn this dangerous trend that threatens genuine political discourse in our society. I hope you'll join me by adding your name to the resolution on my desk. Copies for your purview have been delivered to yours. I ask that my comments be printed in the Journal.